So I want to get into to Chris Sale here because he spoke with Marley Rivera of ESPN last week. Mostly discussed his rehab, but he also had some interesting comments about Alex Cora, his former manager, and the Astros cheating. And to me, these comments shine a light on why every team, and I believe this even when the Astros story first came out, every team in Major League Baseball cheats in some form or another. Now, not as egregiously as the Astros did, or maybe even the Red Sox did. But I think one way or another, teams are always trying to get an edge over each other. And because cheating really has been rampant in the sport since it really began, right? Baseball is really the one sport where it kind of looked the other way for a while on what cheating, teams cheating and, some teams or players getting a competitive advantage. Baseball has always been the one sport that's kind of looked the other way, kind of, turned a blind eye, let's say, to it. And at least, again, Chris Sale, to me, his comments highlight why every team in Major League Baseball cheats in one way or another. It just, to this, what's the severity, what level they do it. Some cheat more than others. But I'll read you some of the thoughts here and why I think this way. So, Chris Sale, when talking about Alex Cora, he was fired. This is what Chris Sale had to say. Quote, I lost zero respect for AC being Alex Cora. And look what I did in 2017 in the playoffs. In the ALDS, you have to win 3 games, which means you can only lose 2. I lost 2 of those 3 games to the Astros that were cheating, right? The very next year, AC comes over and we won the World Series, and I learned who he is, end quote. So think about this. You have a guy back in 2017, right in the heart of when the Astros were cheating, right? This is when the scheme was first developed. They have that great regular season. They go to the World Series to win the World Series. You have Chris Sale in the playoffs when on the record, the Astros were known to be cheating. Looking at the catcher signs, knowing what pitch is coming. You have Chris Sale, who lost 2 of the 3 games, one of the best pitchers in baseball, coming out and say, yeah, what am I supposed to do, I lost to a team. They were cheating. I lost 2 games. That's basically on me. Alex Cora comes over, win the World Series next year. It's all good. Who is content? Who is okay with losing 2 games because the other team was cheating? Well, am I missing something here? Or is it because Alex Cora came over the next year, the guy who helped devise and carry out the cheating scheme in Houston, comes over to Boston the next year. They win the World Series. They had a record-setting pace and a great, great year. Great regular season and run through the playoffs. Is it because now he came over, brought some of those cheating ways, so now it's like, okay, the Astros cheated in 2017, but guess what? We cheated in some for another 2 in 2018. How mad can I be? Because guess what? We're all doing it. So that's the first comment that I say, you know what? Okay, here's a guy that saw a team cheating, realized his team is also skirting the rules. And so I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm not going to call someone out because guess what? The last thing I need is another investigation, which MLB, they found some sort of cheating to the level that do I believe that it was only basically a rogue assistant that was writing down the signs and decoding the signs in the game and not telling anyone? I don't believe that. That's what Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball, after their investigation concluded, that's what they found. And I think if that was the case, is Alex Cora maybe still in a job? We'll see. But I think at least those first comments, basically acknowledging, I lost 2 of the games, the Astros were cheating, but guess what? Alex Cora came over the next year and we won the World Series. I learned who he is. Meaning, I learned the ways that the Astros skirted the rules and cheated. We're going to do the same thing in Boston the next year. And that's what happened. They won the World Series. So also, that didn't stop. I mean, that's not the only quote. He went on. Second quote, maybe I'm different, but I believe everyone blew this thing out of proportion. Talking about the Astros cheating. Let me be clear. I believe what the Astros did was wrong. That is first and foremost, but it doesn't matter. What am I going to do? I can't go back in the past. There's no point in sitting around complaining about losing. This is what I don't get, Chris. You're not complaining about losing. If you complain, or if you gripe publicly about the Astros maybe cheating you out of a World Series or cheating you out of at least, cheating you personally out of some extra money or some extra success, because you, again, were the guy who lost 2 games to a team that knew your signs and knew what was coming. Think about that. This is a guy that was directly affected. He's not an outfielder that, didn't really have an effect on him because it's not like he's not a pitcher, so they don't know what signs are coming. This is a guy who's on the mound who the cheating is directly affecting. And he's saying, there's no point in complaining. This thing's whole blown out of proportion. The Astros knowing every pitch that's coming and relaying it in real time, who cares? Everyone's making a bigger deal about it than it really is. Chris, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Knowing what pitch is coming in baseball basically takes out 90% of how hard the game is. Do you know why hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports? It's because you have less than a second to recognize what pitch is coming, where it's going to be, and if you should swing at it and make great contact, hitting a round ball with a round bat, hitting it where 9 other guys aren't standing. It's so hard because guess what? You fail 3 times out of 10, you're going to the Hall of Fame. There's no other league, no other sport, no other accomplishment. You can fail 70% of the time and be considered one of the greatest of all time. Quarterbacks aren't completing 3 out of 10 passes and going to the Hall of Fame. You don't have Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan hitting 3 out of every 10 shots and having them being regarded as one of the best ever. And there's a reason why baseball is so hard. So in doing that, when you take out, the hardest part is identifying the pitch, and listen, a fastball's coming, so you know what to look for. You just got to see it's in the strike zone or not, and you're going to swing. That takes out the guessing game. That takes out all of the unknown, essentially, when you're a batter. It's like if you told the defense what play is coming offensively, or vice versa. If the defense knew every single offensive play call, or the offense knew every single defense of coverage that the other team was in, that takes out the guessing game. That takes out the hardest part of the game. So if you told Patrick Mahomes or whatever team you were a fan of, oh, this defense is going to be blitzing from the right side, and they knew that before the play was even snapped, guess what? They can easily devise a play, change the play to make sure that that's successful and take advantage of it. So yeah, it is a big deal. It's a huge deal. And you are the guy directly affected. You are the guy that they are cheating off of. You are the guy that they are telling, hey, listen, a fastball is coming. And guess what? You lost 2 games because of it. What do you mean you're blowing it out of proportion? And then finally, Chris Sale ended with this, quote, honestly, I learned a lot from 2017, which was my first experience in the postseason. I fell as flat on my face as anyone's ever done in their first career postseason appearance. The what-if game doesn't appeal to me. When I see Jose Altuve or Carlos Correa or George Springer, I will still say hello to them. It's not like I'm not going to talk to those guys ever again. That World Series may be tainted a little bit, but there's nothing I'll ever do to change it, end quote. I mean, this last thing kind of really what kind of radiates why I think everyone is cheating. Because guess what? If you went to a job interview, right? Let's just say you're interviewing for a job. It's you or the other guy. Just like in baseball, there's always one winner, right? The batter or the pitcher. You're in a job interview. It's between you and someone else. You knew that the other person, you find out later, that the other person got the job. And in part, the reason why they killed the interview so much is because they cheated in some way. Let's say they illegally obtained documents, or maybe even they went back and changed their resume a little bit in order to make it seem more impressive than yours when it really isn't that impressive. So now they get a job because they cheat. Let's say they lie about the resume, no one catches it. They get the job because of it, because of that job experience that they never had. Then you don't get the job. So now you're out of a job. This other person gets the job, so they win the championship in sports theoretically, and then you later find out, well, listen, they got the job because they padded their resume. They lied on their resume. They made it seem better than it really is. Would you just be okay with it? Would you be sitting back if this is your dream job 2 years from now saying, yeah, you know what? My dream job, I really wanted this job. I worked my entire life, worked my entire working career to get to this point. The guy got the job because he lied on his resume. He didn't deserve the job. I was more qualified. I was a better interview. But guess what? He lied. He cheated. He got the job. What am I going to do? Well, I'm not going to complain. It's not that big of a deal. When I still see him, if we go to the same gym or we go to the same supermarket, I'm still going to say hi to him. That's a great guy. I'm not going to be that mad. What are you talking about? Everyone would be furious. I would lose my mind if I found out that someone got the job over me because they cheated or they lied on their resume. Now I'm out of the dream job, and I still see this guy walking around. I'm still going to be friends with him. I'm still going to be nice to him. You wouldn't feel this way unless you yourself cheated your own resume, unless you yourself lied on your own resume, padded your stats per se, and maybe exaggerated the truth to where, hey, listen, I should be mad at this guy. He cheated maybe more than I did. But at the end of the day, guess what? I still cheated. I can't call him out because the last thing I want to do is people be knocking on my door. And all of a sudden now, maybe I'm in more trouble than if I just kept my mouth shut, accepted the fact that they cheated more than I did. They got it. They got this one. We'll let them have it, and I'm just going to move on. That's, to me, listen to these comments. Basically saying, this is blown out of proportion. I'm going to see those guys, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, George Springer, the guys who benefited the most, the guys who directly affected me negatively as I lost 2 games in that 2017 ALDS. I'm still going to say hi to them. They're still cool. We're still friends. It's all good. You wouldn't say that unless you were cheating yourself. Whether it was that year, whether it was 2018 with Alex Cora, whether it's 2019 and above, whether it's every single year. I truly believe with the technology that's available in this day and age, with the access MLB allows these teams to have with technology. Think about it. MLB allowed, up until this point, direct access to cameras in real time, where you can have someone basically watching every single camera angle in real time and decode what's going on, and basically have no checks and balances to stop it up until this point. So yeah, I totally think teams are cheating in Major League Baseball in one way or another. Again, to the extent, to the level is all different. I think no one got as bad as egregious as the Astros. But with that said, it's still bad. It's still cheating. So I think to me, like listening and reading to Chris Sale's comments about basically how this is being overblown, not that big of a deal, we should just move past it. He's not that mad. He already got past it. To me, that tells me that the Red Sox were just as guilty as the Astros. You're not going to call someone out if you don't want them coming to your door investigating you. Baseball is a sport that's always been filled with cheating. Sign stealing goes back as far as possible. It's not just now the rise of technology and allowing cameras, 10 feet from the dugout that's changed, sign stealing. You have stories about in the 60s and the 70s, you had coaches in light poles, turning the light on for the fastball, turn the light off if it was an off-speed pitch. Sign stealing goes back as far as possible. You have steroids. I mean, how long did Major League Baseball look the other ways? Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, they're all cheating. You have pitchers using pine tar. You have nail files, that pitchers are using to scuff the ball up. There's always been players and teams that always try to skirt the rules, always trying to bend the rules and try to get a competitive advantage illegally. This has been in the game of baseball since it started. Baseball doesn't patrol it as much as other leagues, which is why it's so rampant and why it happens much more than any other league allows it to. So yeah, I think just this confirms when you hear Chris Sale talking, that this confirms every single team in baseball cheats in one way or another. It's all about the severity. It's all about the level of which they cheat. And that's why I think at least you hear a guy who was directly affected negatively come out and basically say, it's not that big of a deal. We're blowing this out of proportion. We just calm down, give the Astros a break. Those players that come out and are upset are the ones that were cheated because they're doing it the right way. Right? If your closet's not clean, you're not going to come out and call someone else out, call their closet dirty, because guess what? That attention is going to go right back to you. And if you have a dirty closet or some skeletons in your closet you don't want out, you're not going to say anything. So I think Chris Sale, again, not putting the blame, not being upset for directly getting cheated out of maybe a World Series, at least some postseason success, guarantees, at least to me, and confirms baseball is cheating in some way or another.